Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our inaugural Dallas Stars franchise mode here in NHL 20. So in last episode we simmed all the way up till January the 1st, and we also had free agency, and so far in 36 games we're not off to the greatest start, going 13, 16, 6-1. Now I asked you guys to suggest some trades down below, but you guys did not, so we're going to probably simulate a couple more games before we actually maybe make a trade or two, depending on how our record is. So we're going to go all the way up to the trade deadline first before we make any trades. That way we know for certain this team needs trades or not. So let's get started with the simulation and go up to the 1st of February and see if we could get maybe above 500 this month. Because if this team could go above 500, then I think we should be fine to an extent, but I might want to make a couple of trades still to improve our defense, because that was one of our owner goals at the beginning of the season. So I don't think Greg Adams was injured, was he? Yeah, he wasn't. Okay, good. Well, we're off to a good start this month so far, 2-1 pretty much, or 2-0-1. Yeah, we're getting some wins this month, which is much needed because our division is kind of tight to an extent. Okay, now Greg Adams has been injured with a mild concussion to January the 23rd, so that's a pretty big loss considering he was our leading point man up to that point. But yeah, hopefully this team could win some games and get to stay like around 500, and it will decide if we want to make a trade or not to like improve our team even more. Because even having a 500 record, we should be able to make the playoffs. Back in these days, a lot of teams had really bad records and they still made the playoffs. So Greg Adams back into the lineup. The top line seems to be doing most of the offense this year, except for Medano. He's been kind of struggling a bit, which is kind of odd. So we're now 19, 21, 7-2. Okay, and Czech Republic has fired their coach. Okay. So let's just take a quick look at those standings, see if we need to make any trades yet. We're outside of the playoffs, I think. Let me just take a look at the entire Western Conference, see where we're at. Okay, so in the entire West, we are where? 11th. Okay, so we have 45 points. Last playoff team in our division would be the Chicago Blackhawks, I think. Wait, no, there's another team that's missing. So actually, Germany would be the last team in the playoffs, I think, or Toronto. So we're actually right in the hunt for a playoff spot. We still have games in hand as well, so we should be able to make it if we could get above 500. So I'm going to still go right up to the trade deadline, and then if we are doing better, maybe I won't make any trades, but if we aren't, I'll probably maybe make at least one trade to improve our defense. Like, I think it's just because our goaltending has not a lot of experience, and that could be the reason why we're not winning a lot of games in comparison to past years. So Kevin Hatcher and Stephen Finn head to Buffalo for Connor McLennan, some Hoyles guy, and a fourth. Okay. The Brown Bears have fired their coach as well. So it seems like two European teams are trying to find that right coach still. I don't know about Sweden and Germany. And Russia, actually, for that matter. And Detroit's also fired their coach. That's kind of weird. Last time they fired their coach, they went on to win the Stanley Cup in this. I don't want to give up 2 firsts for Joseph Baranek. That's a bit of an overpayment. So we beat the Sens there 2-1. Game against Washington. And we're getting offered Ferraro, but I'm not giving away Taves and a first. Taves is our best defensive prospect at the moment. So we win 2 games to start the month, 3 games. Okay, now this team's starting to gel a bit. Hopefully we can beat divisional teams too. Toronto, 6-1 loss. That's not good because we're kind of fighting with them, and we lose to them there as well. Those 2 losses could come back to bite us in the ass a bit. Lomakin, no thank you. I don't really want to give up Taves for a rental. Turcotte Moore in a 7th for 2 firsts. That's not bad, but really I don't think we'd have to like scratch somebody really good, and I don't really want to do that. Game against St. Louis. OT loss. We're losing to divisional teams. That's not a good sign. But we beat Chicago 4-2. And there's another trade. Gary Galley, Marty McSorley, and Jocelyn Lemieux. No, that's not Jocelyn. That's a goaltender. Some goalie prospect go to Edmonton for Frank and Afanasenkov. Interesting. No, thank you. I'm not giving up Taves at all this year. There's no way. Winnipeg 3-0 win. Game against the Rangers is coming up. And we have Chicago and Toronto as well. 2 more divisional games. Finland has acquired a first and a third for Ray Ferraro and Tanner Jeanette. Speaking of which, I actually know somebody that knows Tanner Jeanette, so that's kind of cool. And there is one more game left before the deadline. And it's another tie. So we're 25, 26, 9-3. Let's take a quick look at those standings again. And then we'll take a look at what's available and see if we want to actually make any trades or not. It's going to be up to me to make a trade if I want to make a trade, which is not good because I haven't played this in a while. So let's see. So there's 1 team from our division, 2 teams, and 3 teams. So yeah, Toronto's the last one. We are 2 points behind them. And we have 3 games in hand. So there is a good chance we could still make the playoffs, but there's actually Russia as well, I think, in our division. So we're kind of fighting with Russia to get into the playoffs at the moment. So we should make probably at least a trade to help us out a bit. I just don't know who we want to get rid of. Let's take a look at our lineup quickly, see where we're weak, like maybe some guys are dropping off. So, yeah, maybe we want to find a better 4th line center than Neil Broughton. I don't know. He's been actually not that bad still. Defensively, Babbage is dropping off, but he is still even. And he's got 17 points. Selaney has been solid. Who's been bad? Matvichuk. That top pairing still doesn't seem to work at all in terms of defense. Maybe I get rid of Zarley Zalapsky. And then how's the goaltending been? Nabokov, okay. I mean, they've been improving, it seems like. But yeah, maybe we want to get rid of Zalapsky. But it did improve our top 4, so in that case, we'd have to trade Dave Babbage. So let's take a look and see if we could find any good trades available for maybe one of those guys. Where's the damn trade finder? Oh, there it is. Because we need to make some sort of push to get into the playoffs, I think, because our division is pretty tight. So I think Zalapsky wouldn't be bad to move, but at the same time, if we move Zalapsky, our defense gets weaker. So we should probably move the weakest link in terms of overall, which is Dave Babbage. So let's see if we can find a trade for Dave Babbage. And we can't, based on our block, okay. Let's just actually go to the trading block and see if there's a defenseman that could actually help us out. Because maybe we'll give up Babbage in a pick. And then that will help us improve that defense. Because the defense isn't that bad, but there's teams with better defense. So that prospect, any actual defenseman though. A lot of these guys are just prospects at this point. Or younger guys or older guys. Bill Berg is a winger. Dennis Vasquez is not bad, but he's not good either. He's probably playing in the AHL. Maybe not. He's a -17. I don't like that. Whack-a-look. There's got to be somebody here on the block that perfectly meets our needs. Usually there always at least is one. Thomas. No, it's a different Sundstrom. Okay, never mind. I thought that was Thomas Sundstrom for a second. Terrari. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot on the block. We might have waited too late. Kevin Lowe might not be that bad. -15 no this season with Ottawa, but that's a bad team. He does fit all our needs, and he's got 1 year left. I'll come back to Kevin Lowe, I think, if there's nobody else better. Because Kevin Lowe's a good veteran presence back there. And he wouldn't be too expensive to get. I don't think there's anybody else on the block. That's interesting enough. Stuart Malgunas, I think he's young now. Or not young. 87 defensive awareness. Mine is 15 in Washington. Yikes. Yeah, the only one that's interesting to me is Kevin Lowe. So we're going to try for Kevin Lowe. And we're going to get rid of Babbage. I think it's just a little upgrade, but maybe it's worth it. Just Lowe's more defensively minded, so he should help us out in terms of that. And then Babbage is going to them, which is an offensive defenseman. So, yeah, I know they don't want him probably, though, because of age. Okay, so how's the trade values looking? We should probably add at least one more thing. Do we have any defensive prospects that we don't need, that they want? Let's go to skaters matching block. And I do have interest in our low top 9, who's unsigned. You know, we'll give him that. So this street prospect and Babbage for low. I'm rejected, really? What could we do? It's gotta be some sort of deal. What about this low top 6'4" prospect? Even though he could end up being good, I might as well just give him up a prospect. So Babbage and Flynn for low, and that one is accepted. So we might have overpaid for Kevin Lowe, but I'm just gonna give him say that Kevin Lowe is gonna help us out in terms of defensive play a bit. He is a better overall, and he is older though, so hopefully he doesn't like kind of bite us in the ass a bit. So we'll put Kevin Lowe in right there, and that does improve our defense hopefully a tiny bit. Unfortunately, we had to let go of Dave Babbage already because we picked him up only like 2 seasons ago, I think. But yeah, okay, so our lineup looks pretty solid, I think. That's the only move we're going to do. I don't know if it's going to even help us make the playoffs, but hopefully Kevin Lowe could be one of those guys that just step up and be kind of like a veteran presence in the locker room. Because Kevin Lowe's won multiple Stanley Cups in his career with like Edmonton and the Rangers. So he kind of adds that experience to the lineup. Let's actually take a look at the trades that happened so far this year, or actually happened this year, and then we'll sum up to the end of the season, and hopefully we can make the playoffs. Because if we don't, then it's going to be a long off season. So here's all the trades. I'm not going to read them out just because I'm kind of low on time. But if you guys want to pause the video at any time, you can. And yeah, there wasn't a whole lot this year for trades, it looks like. Okay, so let's sim another month. Hopefully this team could turn it around a bit. And hopefully Kevin Lowe plays really good for us defensively. So let's go to the first. Okay, and that actually does improve our top 4, they say. So we are now apparently a serious contender, but will we make the playoffs? I have no idea. Okay, so we got a game against Montreal coming up, and we win 2-1. And then we win in overtime against Winnipeg, so good start to the month. Game against Russia, who we need to beat, and we tie with them, but we lose to Sweden. We beat Calgary 4-2. And we lose to LA. And that is not a good sign. Not a good point in time for this to happen. Nabokov's been injured till March the 21st, so we're going to have to rely on Thomas Vokoun. But we're going to have to call up a goalie from the AHL in replacement, which in this case is this 64 overall goalie. Yikes. Maybe I should pick up a better AHL goalie sometime. So Vokoun starter and Machovsky is backup. AHL wise, it's going to be Wolf and Brophy. Interesting. Okay, let's see if Vokoun can get us into the playoffs, because we're going to have to rely on him hard here. This is going to give him some good experience. We win 2 games and lost, and Nabokov is already back. At least it wasn't too long-term of an injury. Like, if it was for the rest of the season, we'd be screwed probably. So Machovsky goes back down. Go back to edit lines. And then we could put back in Nabokov. We only missed, I think, like 3 games. So that wasn't that bad. 2 of them were wins by Vokoun, so that's good. Unless one was from Machovsky. Okay. Let's continue the simulation. Game against Vancouver is another win. We are now up to second in our division. So this is good. We are playing good at the right time. But we do have a really weird record. And we lose that one in overtime. So we're second in our division. Let's take a quick look at the standings. I think we might have clinched. Did we? No, we didn't yet. We're close to probably. I just want to take a quick look at those standings, see how close we are to actually clinching. Even though we are right near the end of the season. So we are currently 7th in the West, but we're second in our division. So who's the third team in our division? The Winnipeg Jets. And then, okay, yeah, it's still very tight. Toronto's just outside of a playoff spot. Okay, let's get this last little bit done, and then we will take a look at the player stats, the standings, and all that stuff. And then if we are in the playoffs, we'll see who we're up against in the first round. So the first 2 games of these final 5 games, we need to win a lot. Scott Pearson's been injured till April 13th, so that's not good for our 4th line, but hopefully we could still win games. We lose 5-0 there. And now Craig Adams has been injured. Oh my god. The wrong time for injuries, really. And we win in overtime against St. Louis. That's good. Another 2 games, Germany and Czech Republic. I don't know if we've clinched yet because I can't really see that part of my screen. Anton Lundell's been injured now too. What the hell is this? We got 3 injuries in the last few games. And we win them both there, so we should be clinching now. Let's just take a quick look. And yes, we clinched a playoff spot somehow after a really weird season. So I guess Kevin Lowe may have helped us out a bit. Last game of the year against Edmonton is a loss. So we finished the season 36-32, 10-4, which is a very different sort of record than we're used to. Okay, let's take a look at player stats in the standings and see who we're going up against in the first round of the playoffs. Hopefully we could win another Stanley Cup, but this team is not necessarily the greatest in comparison to past years. So Medano, 71 points, so he definitely picked it up a bit because he did struggle in the first little bit. Trevor Wong, 57 points, Lundell, 41, Gilchrist, 31 points, Broughton, 22, Eisenberg, 6 points in 8 games as a depth guy, and Stapleton, 1 point. As for plus-minus wise, everybody on the center core was minus except for Stapleton, who was the depth guy. Left wing wise, 70 points in 75 games for Greg Adams, 39 for Dave Gagne, 38 for Klatt, and 20 for Pearson. Right wing wise, Courtnall had 82 points, Young had 24, and Craig had 19. Our plus minus just throughout our forward core was really bad. Like our only plus forward really was Scott Pearson. And then in terms of defense, Zalapsky, 29 points and a minus 20. Jeez. Yeah, that top pairing was not good. 25 points for Hatcher, 24 for Cavallini, 22 for Kevin Lowe, which means how much with us? 5 points in 19 games for us, and he was a minus 1 only, so he definitely helped us a bit defensively. Hopefully he can do that more in the playoffs as well. Matvichuk, 18 points, Slaney, 16 points somehow, and Bergevin, 1 goal in 2 games. As for our goaltending situation, Vokun played pretty solid, or not Vokun, Nabokov played pretty solid, but Vokun kind of didn't have the greatest first season, but he will grow, and I think these two will have a good season next year. Let's take a look at those standings, see how we finished in terms of goals for and all of that. So, entire league, we probably didn't have the greatest overall finish. We finished 15th in the entire league. Damn. Our division was really weak for some reason this year. So in terms of goals for per game, we were not good. Let's just say it at that. In terms of goals against per game, where are we even? Wow, Florida had the worst goals against, yet they made the playoffs. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle for goals against, 2.99. Power play percentage, it's not that bad for the power play. It's kind of around the middle as well, 19.3%. And in our penalty kill, 84.8. which is one of the best in the league. So we're a good penalty killing team, but other than that, we're not that good at all. We also had 9 shorthanded goals this season. Okay, so let's take a look at who we are going to be going up against in the first round, as well as the playoff tree, and then that'll be it for this episode. And the next episode will be the first round of the playoffs, and hopefully we could somehow make it past the first round. Okay, so we're going up against the Germany Eagles. So the first time we're going up against maybe it might be the second time. No, I think this is the first time we're going up against a European-based team other than Russia. Actually, we went against Russia a couple years ago when we won the cup, I think. So Germany finished 35-37, 8-2. I wonder who they have now, because a lot of their older guys retired in year number 3 or so. So Germany's roster, they got Stefan Matteau. So they got a guy that could score in the playoffs. Mike Bullard and Oleg Petrov, interesting. Kevin Lavalley, Kelly Kissio, and Magnus Arvidsson. Third line, Antonio Strings somehow is already up to an 82. I don't think I've ever seen this guy this high. So that's kind of neat. Cole Sillinger as well, so they got some good young guys on this third line. And Elliot Howes, who's got top 6 potential. In fourth line, Marcoux, Bureau, and Sundstrom. As for defense, they got Uli Heimer still, Glenn Featherstone, Jamie Drysdale, so they got some more young guys. Darren Rumble, Hanyo Hentinen, and Vladislav Yermenko. So yeah, they have a lot of young guys actually in this lineup that are kind of mixed with the older guys, so it's kind of an interesting team. As for goalies, they have Marty Turka, who doesn't seem to be growing much right now. Probably not getting a lot of... he hasn't really played that much. But hopefully he grows into being that starter he did in real life. And they also have Curtis Joseph, who they signed in free agency. So that's maybe the main reason they made the playoffs, is because of Cujo. As for depth guys, they have Isaac Pitton and Rob Ray. Okay, so anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of our Dallas Stars franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the first round of the playoffs, where we are going to be taking on the Germany Eagles. And just in case you guys wanted to see the rest of the playoff tree, here it is for next episode. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.